Guys, I think we found the weirdest video of all time because this is called I Was Brought Into This World with 3 Moms. This is apparently a real story. I don't know about this thumbnail. It freaks me out. I'm not sure. We're about to find out what's going on here because this is messed up.
I'm Gabrielle, and I want to tell you about a mysterious baby I found on my doorstep.
Well, that's weird.
So, I never wanted to get married and have babies.
This is starting off on a really weird foot here. Just literally, you just meet someone. They're like,
I never wanted to get married and have babies.
okay.
Kids are a nightmare, right? You become a mom and your life's over.
Sorry to all my moms out there watching with their kids right now. They're like, turn it off. Timmy, turn it off right now.
No more partying and having fun. It's all diapers and bottles.
I mean,
all
is
that
it true?
changed one night. I'd been out clubbing, so I didn't get home until late. I tripped over something on my doorstep. It made a strange noise.
Are you about to tell me you just tripped on a baby at home? Like you just went to a club, came home, and there was a
Baby on your doorstep?
And I thought someone had left a basket of kittens for me. But then, I looked closer, and I realized someone had put a baby on my doorstep. I took it into my apartment and found a note tucked into the Moses basket. It said, "This is your baby. You got me pregnant, and I can't afford to look after her, so she's your responsibility now."
Sorry, what?
You got me pregnant?
I'm confused now.
Her name is Heather. Please, love her as much as I do. What? Clearly, there'd been a mistake. I'd bought my apartment recently, so the baby must have been meant for the guy who lived here before me. Oh, I wasn't going to keep her.
What a weird wake-up call that'd be when you get home and there's a baby on your porch. It just says, hey, got you a baby. It's yours now. Like, what do you do?
I called the cops and they said they'd come with someone from CPS to take the baby. But while I waited for them to arrive, I was cuddling Heather, and she was so cute.
That is
She had a tiny little button nose and adorable big blue eyes.
Yeah.
She was beautiful. The cops showed up with a lady from CPS. I asked what they are going to do with Heather, and they said she'd probably go into foster care and then be adopted. But if no one wanted her, she'd probably spend her life.
Okay, so it seems like a pretty normal situation here. I mean, I feel like that's what most people would do here, right? Like, I don't think like many people, I don't know. Would you keep it? Like, if this happened to you, what are you doing? Seriously, what are you doing?
She had a mom who loved her, even if she couldn't care for her. What if she changed her mind? She'd never get her daughter back. So, I did something crazy. I asked if I could keep her.
I bet these police and this lady is so mad.
Like, I literally drove all the way out here in the middle of the city, and you just changed your mind?
Of course, it wasn't easy. I had to have interviews and assessments to make sure I'd be a good parent. It was a lot of stress, but I had a good job with plenty of savings, and at last, Heather came home to live with me. Once Heather was mine, I wondered whether I'd done the right thing.
God, baby looks kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if we actually like overlay the head of the baby on top of the woman here, I'm pretty sure they have the exact same heads. I mean, that's a large baby. That cage is not gonna keep it in. You need a much taller cage.
And when your baby cries all night, it's
Why is
hard
she
to do a
bouncing
good
on the
job
bed?
the next day. I was head of marketing at a fashion label, so I was seriously regretting adopting Heather.
You tell me they're head of marketing at a fashion label and you've been wearing the same shirt for multiple days that you sleep in, get a baby in, and also work in?
And you're a fashion up.
Maybe, I don't know.
Then I hired Charlene, my neighbor, as a live-in nanny. She saved my life.
Okay.
She moved in with us right away. She was
Your
the
neighbor moved in with you? If she's your neighbor, couldn't she just walk home at the end of the day? It's like 2 feet away, bro. What?
one who got up in the middle of the
Doesn't even
night
make
to give
sense.
Heather a bottle so I could sleep. Charlene was awesome. She looked after Heather while I was at work, took her to all the mommy and me classes, and made sure my baby got plenty of cuddles.
Yo, what if Heather is the mom and she just dropped him off and now she's getting paid to take care of the baby that she had? Like, think about that for a second. What just happened? I restarted the video.
Okay.
I looked after Heather at the weekend so Charlene could have a break, but most of the time, she would insist on hanging out with us.
Okay.
Things were great for a while.
Is baby
but
already in
when Heather
school?
started school, I told Charlene
It's a
we
teenager.
didn't need her anymore. She started crying, and she didn't want to leave.
She probably didn't want to leave because it was literally her baby, and I bet she left it on the doorstep. Like I said, how's that girl now in high school?
She said we were like family. We agreed
What in the
Charlene
world?
could stay on as...
You hired this lady to clean your...
Excuse me?
She cleaned while Heather was at school. Then she looked
So
after her
weird.
until I came home from work. Heather loved that Charlene was still living with us.
Oh, 2 mommy stickers.
Uh-oh.
Who's the
She
third?
called her my second mommy. But not long after Heather's 10th birthday, I lost
She's only 10? I thought she was like in high
my
school.
job
Okay.
when the company I was working for went bust.
Oh.
But nobody wanted to hire me. I was so high level and experienced, it was hard to find the same kind of job. When I applied for lower positions, everyone said I was overqualified. I had enough money saved up to pay my bills for a few months, but if I didn't find another job soon, we were going to be in trouble. It absolutely broke my heart. But I had to let Charlene go. She begged me not to sack her.
She's literally your neighbor. Just come over after school and say hi if you're that close. It's not that hard.
She said she'd work for nothing as long as she could stay with us. It made me really uncomfortable, to be honest.
Yeah.
She threw herself on her knees, tugging at my clothes and screaming she couldn't leave us.
Wow.
I grabbed her bag, and as I was
definitely
handing
not a
it
bag,
to
though.
her,
Okay,
it
sure.
fell on the floor. To my shock, pictures of my daughter fell out of her
Yo,
bag.
that's crazy.
I don't have any baby pictures of myself because my crazy mom stole them all, but I'm sure I looked cute. I'll never know.
I quickly grabbed the pictures, and I couldn't believe it. She had literally taken pictures of my daughter every day. I wanted her out of my house quickly, so I called the cops. But then she was gone. Heather yelled at me that I was a terrible mom, and
Aw.
Charlene was a better mom than I could ever be.
Oh, that's horrible.
Then she stomped off to her room,
Oh.
slamming the door behind her. A couple months later, I was still looking for work,
You
but
painting?
no one wanted to hire me. So I decided to set up my own marketing agency. To save money, I worked from home,
This is
which meant
GameStop?
I could spend more time with Heather.
Same
But
logo.
Heather didn't want to hang out. She was still mad at me for sending Charlene away.
Jeez, she's been holding a grudge for months. Mom, you gotta step something up. Buy her like an iPhone or something.
So whenever I asked her if she wanted
movie.
to go to the movies or the mall, she said no. Until one day, Heather told me she'd join the choir at school, so she was going to be home late some nights because she needed to practice. She said one of the other moms was going to bring her back. I was just happy Heather was doing something,
One of the other moms is gonna bring her back? Could this be our mysterious and elusive third mother? Oh,
so I told her she
Is it?
could be in the choir as long as she kept her cell with her and always told me where she was. Heather agreed, and for the first time in ages, she gave me a big hug.
Aw.
She had such a happy smile on her face.
probably because she either got her old mom back or she's about to find a new mom. Like, I'm concerned for the way you're raising this daughter, Mom.
What Heather didn't know was I'd installed one of those apps on her phone that let
Oh,
you know where
you
the
creepy
cell
mom.
was at all times.
How many of you guys have this? Because this was not a thing when I was a kid, and I feel like I would have revolted if it was. Like, now that parents just track their kids, to me, I guess it makes sense a little. It's just weird. I don't know. I can't get used to it.
The first time she said she was at choir practice, her cell was at school the whole afternoon.
Yeah, that's
But
good.
the next time she was supposed to be at choir, her cell left school and went downtown. I raced out of my apartment and got in a cab to find where my daughter had gone. She was in a diner with Charlene.
Wow.
This is getting a crazy twist here.
I stormed in and grabbed Heather. "Why are you here? When you're supposed to be at choir," I said. Charlene was really apologetic. She said it was her fault, but she missed Heather so much, she had to see her.
Heather just needs to adopt you. It's clear that you guys have a little special relationship, and you need to adopt her, and this mom needs to give her up. Probably not, actually.
Stay away from my daughter, or I'll get her arrested.
Uh-oh.
I told Heather she had to quit choir, but she cried. So I said she could
Why quit choir? I mean, you could just tell her not to see this lady again and keep singing if she liked it.
still be in it, but had to come straight home
Oh.
afterwards. I couldn't trust her not to sneak off and see Charlene again. A
Wow.
couple weeks later, I decided to surprise Heather after school by picking her up and taking her for a manicure. But as I got closer to the school, I saw Charlene
Oh my
waiting by
gosh,
the
she's
gate.
like a snake.
I went up to her and asked what she was doing. She looked embarrassed and said she just happened to be in the neighborhood.
It's getting to a point where it's creepy. You need to step away, Charlene. You're giving me creeper vibes.
I didn't believe her. She lived on the other side of town. Then Heather came out of school.
Uh-oh.
She saw me talking to Charlene. She went bright red. It was obvious they'd arranged to meet up.
Uh-oh.
That was it. I got a restraining order out on Charlene. She was too obsessed with my daughter. I thought that would be the end of it. But my nightmare was just beginning.
Dude, it's already creepy. How's it get worse than this? Where's the third mom? Where's the third mom?
Heather got really depressed after I made Charlene leave us
Wow.
alone. She spent all her time locked in her room and only came out for meals.
What is happening? Are you dancing while your daughter's throwing a rage fit? This is a weird dynamic here. Maybe that's why she hates
She
you.
wouldn't talk to me, even when I offered to take her shopping for new clothes.
Those literally just went up, stuck to the ceiling, and didn't come down. You just guys realize that?
When I called her for dinner one night and she didn't answer, I thought she was sulking in her room. "That's enough, young lady. This rudeness ends now," as I went into her room, but it was empty. I looked all over our apartment,
Yes, she's probably hiding underneath the table.
but I couldn't find her
In
anywhere.
the toilet.
My daughter was missing. I called the cops. At first, they told me she was just being a teenager and not to worry. What was Charlene's deal? Why was she so obsessed
Because Charlene is the real mom.
with my daughter? It wasn't normal for a nanny to act like this. The police told me to stay in my apartment while they looked for Heather, but I hated sitting
Why
around
wouldn't you be
doing
allowed to go look for your own baby? Why would you have to stay in your apartment?
nothing. I had to do something. So I went on social media and shared pictures of Heather and Charlene,
Okay.
asking people to contact me if they'd seen them. And then I got a PM from a woman who lived a couple 100 miles away. She said she was sure she'd seen them staying in the same motel she was in. I forwarded my message to the cops and got straight into my car. I broke every speed limit going, but I didn't care. I had to save my daughter. When I got to the motel, there were cops everywhere. I raced over to them, but they wouldn't let me through. "What's wrong?" I yelled. "Let me get my daughter." That's when they told me Charlene had a gun, and she was threatening to hurt Heather if they didn't leave them alone.
She got the hostage. This actually got legit. I didn't think we were going to this point. Okay, she's officially crazy.
"Heather!" I cried out for my daughter, hoping she could hear me.
Is that cop giving her a back rub? He's like, there. Look at him.
You know how much I loved her. Suddenly, there was a gunshot. My heart skipped a beat. Was my daughter dead?
Oh my gosh, this is dark.
I heard Heather calling.
Heather came back covered in blood and she's like, "We're free, Mom." That's weird.
I ran towards the sound of her voice as she came running out of the motel room.
That's Mom's strength. She said, "All right, I hear my daughter screaming. I'm sorry, cops, I'm out."
This time, the police let me through, and we fell into each other's arms, sobbing. She said Charlene had fired a warning shot, but the police had tasered her before anyone could get hurt. Not long after, they brought Charlene out in handcuffs. "Why?" I asked. "Because Heather's my daughter," said Charlene.
I called it. I literally said this like 10 minutes ago.
I'd be a good person to look after her baby. I had a job and a stable life, and well, she was an alcohol addict. She knew that childcare will take the baby away from her, so she decided to raise her in the house next door. She also watched me and Heather from my house window 24/7 until she heard I was looking for a nanny. She realized this was her chance to stay close to her daughter. She then started laughing hysterically. It was really creepy. "Why would you threaten to hurt your daughter then if you love her so much?" I screamed. She was quiet for a moment before she said, "If I can't have her, no one else should." That's when the police took her away. Heather and I were traumatized by what happened. We're having therapy together, and it's really helping.
If you guys enjoyed it, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, Lover Reacts. We're trying to hit 1 million Zacklings, so join today. Peace.
Where's the third mom?